Guys, we're in. Now, I would like to say this. Just like the famous guy did, or said, sorry. One of my favorite rappers, Jay-Z. He said he could have been anywhere in the world where you're here with us. So, you know what I mean? We could have been anywhere, man. Could have been doing different things. But yeah, man. Last episode, you guys were here with us and it was fun. We enjoyed it. Great times, man. You know, it's one of them ones where you go club and you have a good night out. You go, that was good.
Gotta do it again.
You gotta do it again. He knows, bro. He knows. Yeah, so quick icebreaker, guys. Premier League is back. I just wanted to get some of your predictions. I'll start with Savvy. Savvy.
You know, obviously an Arsenal fan. Work at Arsenal. I'm not trying to just throw it in there all the time. You know, we've come close for the last 2 years. I'm always throwing it in, but I'm actually an Arsenal fan as well. Like.
He's an Arsenal fan too now. He's a
Arsenal second.
Yeah.
Nah, I feel like we've gone close for the last 2 seasons.
So you think they'll do this year? Yeah?
No chance.
I think we will, man. Like I think we'll.
With what players?
Guys.
I need to be careful what I'm saying, you know.
ELA players.
I'm getting hard at this.
Wait, what's your prediction, Addy?
Manchester United will somehow...
you can see that while we're sitting adjacent.
Manchester
you know
United
will
somehow...
Arsenal,
have you seen the new signings that we have?
Why is this team in the conversation? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
Man United. Have everyone.
Look, I think
Man City.
once we sign like a proper number 9,
Yeah,
I think
Xerxes is all right. I think he will do all right. I watched a lot of him last season. That's what I'm saying. He will do all right. I know the Premier League is different.
we need a
you know,
strong
there.
African striker.
Yeah, for really like a Drogba, which we haven't had in a while,
goals, toe
man.
it doesn't matter how it goes. 29 goals in the season. The 30th one, the skies are over the bar.
That's so funny,
man.
Trust me, man. But it's a good thing though that football's back, and of course, again, this is predominantly a football podcast. And ELA, we are ELA. Today we have a special guest. His famous name is I would say his name is Ade, but I'll let him introduce himself. So yeah, over to you, Ade, man.
No, I just want to at least thank you guys for at least inviting me and having me on, to be fair. Obviously, you guys are doing massive things. I know pretty much everyone here really, really well, to be fair, for a long, long time. And it's just the journey of how, funny enough, as you said, we're here from pretty much what, Sammy, we're talking about maybe 7-8 years ago. 7-8 years ago to now, to be fair, we're all in this room, back in this room.
That's a full-grown kid.
It is.
It is. That's grown.
Me and Addy worked at Wolves together.
Oh, yeah?
We worked at, obviously, Palace for a long time together. So, like,
you know, I've seen a lot.
Talked
about a lot.
Talked about a lot, man.
Compared to what I do now. So, obviously, now I'm head of academy recruitment at Millwall.
Nice.
So, I made that move over.
Say it again. Head of academy. Head. 7s to 21s, no?
Yeah, something like that, to be fair. I've made that move in around that Christmas times, to be fair.
Damn.
Just a really good opportunity arose.
Nice.
You speak with the right people and you just get a feel that it's the right time for a new challenge, to be fair.
I love that.
So it's just one of them things. But yeah, just the general guy in football, help out with the county, help out with my brother and his school thing that he's got going on as well.
Nice.
Anything to do with football, and if I've got time, 9 out of 10 times I look to help and I look to be there. So yeah, that's pretty much it, to be fair.
Nice. Well, guys, that's Ade. We have a lot to talk about. I'll be asking a few questions, and I guess we're all gonna be asking questions. I guess just a conversation. The only difference is there's a camera in front of us, but it's just lads just having a chat. Now we've got Salim today. Salim is here with us. Yes, Mr. Salim.
I'm here, man.
What's
here.
good? What's good?
Happy to be here, man.
Happy to be here, man. You're part one of us. Yeah,
Top
man.
coach.
Yeah,
Man.
you know what I'm saying?
Coach. He got
beaten
Hey.
Benfica.
He was coach.
Only Benfica.
Coach of the year last year, yo. Can't lie.
Only Benfica.
Yeah.
Only teams
Benfica, man.
Only
City,
Champions League.
There's a list.
I like that. You see, that's
We had a nickname. We were the giant killers last season. For
Come
sure,
on.
man.
You know what I'm
Definitely.
saying? That's
just even to say that, do you know how impressive that is? It's just like you're taking in what we would consider grassroots kids. So basically, like kids off the
street. So
basically kids off the street. To be fair, some obviously from more better affluent backgrounds, but some obviously from a bit more deprived backgrounds, and you're taking them to play against. You can't even consider them giants. You just see like world class, seasoned world class football teams. Like, how many coaches did Benfica have on that day?
But they had like 6.
Benfica
It's just me and Salim on the side. You see them.
2 guys
Coach,
on the side.
assistant coach, physio.
Listen, man.
And
Just
then
see me and Salim there.
You probably had another 2 or 3 guys in the stands. And you just have to imagine the facilities and everything they have.
that's crazy. Yeah.
Them guys.
Do you know what the craziest thing that me and Salim saw that tournament? bro, they've got fans.
I'm
not joking.
It's a
Bro,
professional
they
club.
came,
vuvuzelas.
babe, they come with vuvuzelas.
Scarves.
They're singing a song. They got
Bro.
scarves. They got drums. When Sporting Lisbon and Benfica are playing, bro, there's literally about 70 fans singing songs.
Of course,
I'm
you're
like,
in
bro,
Portugal.
we
It's a
felt,
professional
we,
club.
Bro, we actually felt we were in a literally Champions League final game.
Yeah, it was like a
we're looking
proper
up.
first team game,
We're trying to
like-
shout to the players. They can't hear us.
Yeah.
They're all playing vuvuzelas in
To
the
be
background.
fair, though, I have to be fair. Every part of the world outside England, I said the England, you know, outside England, they do that.
Yeah.
Like I was watching like on the nines Belgium game, Anderlecht.
Oh,
On the
you might have. We're probably talking about the same competition. I don't know what competition.
Yeah.
That's,
I'm
and
like,
you just got fans going
fans
crazy.
with flares. I went, are you joking? This are on the night.
Under
Brother.
8-year-old
So
kids.
in England, you're like, come on, Terry. Come on, mate. Come on, get up, do it again. It's like, no fans whatsoever.
But
It's just them ones there.
just even saying just how impressive it is to
Very
be fair.
impressive,
It's
man.
like just imagine, as I was saying, the facilities they have compared to the facilities that we as grassroots teams have to struggle with. Like we're renting out of a school. They might not have like the best facilities. They've got state-of-the-art gym. They've got.
True.
I can confidently say now and put probably a meal on it that Benfica probably have maybe minimum 5 grass pitches, 2 AstroTurf pitches,
yeah, for sure,
minimum.
yeah.
A dome, a dome, the
video
whole-
Bro, you guys understand Benfica?
And
They were once European champions. Like this is not a small club. Of
Yeah,
course
yeah,
they
of
do.
course.
Have
But Benfica, who come from there? João Felix.
There's
Who
a
else
lot.
come from there?
Bernardo
What's his
Silva?
name?
What's the
Di
kid?
Maria. Di Maria's
A
from
lot of
Benfica.
players, man. Then you got Ronaldo came from Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah, these are like
You're
Yeah,
playing
I'm
in all
saying
these
that.
teams. So this man them from West London, rubbing toe to toe. And you know what's so funny with it? But you know what's so funny about it? I guarantee you in about 4 years' time or 5 years' time, one of them kids you played against that day will probably be making his first team debut.
We were literally
were
saying
saying
that.
that.
Like, it's nuts. It's nuts how football works.
The sell to the boys that we were saying, like, this is a fantastic opportunity. The guys you're playing against in this tournament, they'll be playing in the Champions League about 5-6 years.
Facts.
Because
One
we
of
had
them- one of them will-
we had
one of them.
Juventus there, Ajax there, Man City there,
Sporting
Benfica there,
Lisbon.
Sporting Lisbon there. Club Brugge had some fantastic players.
Yep.
Like, it was crazy, man.
That one is the real elite world of football. So to actually go there and beat teams that you have to proper structure itself, like tactically, like you're basically outsmarting. These kids are meant to be like the next best things
probably
in football.
train at least 3 times a week.
At
Probably,
least,
at
man.
least,
Some of the kids
at
live
least,
there.
at
I've
least.
got some Benfica's parents. Some of the kids are living kids.
That's amazing.
Living there, and then you got some guys living Kilburn, just coming late to training.
True.
Coming
And
late
all
to
of
training.
that, all of that we're saying, yeah, it ties into the first thing I want to ask. Obviously, as you deal with scouting as well as recruitment. So for instance, as a scout, or should I say, as the head of recruitment, what do you prioritize in terms of raw talent coming into Millwall? How do you differ from another club?
I think the way that we differ, and I think a lot of people would probably say this, that we're very, very open and honest people. What I mean by that, we're probably very, very nice. Like
Okay.
people can just approach us and like, our academy director will give you the time of day, our head of coaching, our lead phase coaches, everyone will give you time of day. And like, that is something that it's not really given at a lot of football clubs. People are kind of not, in a sense, big time or like have big egos, but it's along those lines. You come to Millwall, everyone's a normal, hard-working human being. There's no egos, there's no hidden agendas. Everyone's just there for good reason of the club, to see the next kid progress and play into the first team. Everyone from top to bottom, like there's no one there you can say is
People's persons, like
everyone's a people's person.
yeah.
Like, so there's not really that many issues or stuff that arises, or even if there's a small issues, like nipped in the bud very, very quickly. Because everyone's open. You know, like academy football, there's a stigma where you don't really want to talk to the coach, you don't really want to say anything because you're scared it might jeopardize your son's position or something. Well, none of that, to be fair. You come, you speak to us, we treat you like you're normal. It's fair. You're only judged at the end of the day of what you produce on the football pitch. Everything else, we treat it as like normal human beings, and there's very, 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 very good staff there in place.
In Millwall, right?
Yeah, very, very, very good stuff from top to bottom. And you know, people wouldn't really think that, because of obviously like the type of club like Millwall is or whatsoever,
the
and like the stereotypes and like the stigma from before. But once you actually go into the club, once I actually invite people in and they see the staff and everything,
And
they're
they're
like,
like,
wow,
yeah.
this football club's like wonderful.
But
whatsoever.
then again, because I need at this point I have to play Angel's advocate, no Devil's advocate. Devil's a bad man. I have to play Angel's advocate. Yeah, I say, what if for that moment people coming in and they're seeing the nice side, it's just an act? What if, would you say, because I know you're speaking from your own experience and perspective, but do you feel like when you first joined, you felt like, this is an act?
Not really, to be fair, you know, because how many times I've been But this week, this is the only day I'm not into, bro. I'm in tomorrow, to be fair. And then I do Saturday, 18s are playing Fleetwood, and then I do Sunday, we've got in-house games. So I spend quite a lot of my time there to probably, like 5 times a week or whatsoever. So I'm in with these people, we sit down, we have lunch. We don't even take phones up to lunch, to be fair. It's like a proper, like...
Oh, nice.
There's a proper, like, talking culture, like, everyone speaks face to face. I don't really think it's an act. It'll be hard to keep an act up for that long, to be fair. Just really good people.
That's interesting because then again, so seeing all of this, you've moved from another club, which is Crystal Palace, if I'm correct or if I'm wrong. So if I'm not wrong, either way,
that's correct.
Yeah, I'm correct. Yeah. So you've moved from that to Millwall. And now I'm not talking about. I don't want to talk about the disparities or how different they are. It's not that important. But what I wanted to ask or know about is the fact that. Do you feel like, or have you seen a situation, seen a situation or heard a situation where a boy is chosen based off of nepotism, I would say. So for instance, I'll give an example. So you know this guy can play good, he can play good football, but someone will be saying things like, it works both ways actually, with scouts or with coaches. They'll be like, stuff like, actually, let me use a coach or scout. You might have seen this because we'll get to the football side later. But they'll be like, yeah, apply for this job. Apply for it. Yeah. This applies to all of you, by the way, if you want to jump in. They'll be like, apply for this job. I say, yeah, like, okay, cool. You've gone online, clicked apply. But they already have who they're going to employ anyway.
Do you know what's so funny, yeah?
Me and him went through this.
No, do you know what's so funny?
If I talk about being big trouble,
this is the Mourinho meme I'm going to put here. I'll edit the meme.
You try to say it as a joke, Collins, yeah? And to be fair,
next to each other, this happened.
We've seen this firsthand. So like, I spoke a lot about corrupt thing that goes on in the football industry a little bit. So like, jobs in football, some guys in higher positions are hiring their friends. Okay, not even the best players, best coaches or the best scouts. So what they'll do is they'll go, "Hey, we've got this job coming up, assistant head of recruitment. I'm gonna give you the role, but just because I've got to go through HR and make it look good." It's got to go online. So people will apply, people will do the interview, people will do the presentation.
Like people put their heart,
put
your heart into it.
It's happened.
I shouldn't laugh, I know.
People put their heart into it, and it's like one of them things.
That is
I just think it's in all walks of life, to be fair.
It's in all walks of life. It happens in every walk of life, which is fair, to be honest. But you could then be missing out on top quality footballers because because the scout is not a good scout, so he's missing out on what a good player is because he's got the wrong high job. I'll go back to my point. There's a lot of people in full-time roles, they shouldn't be there, and then they're missing out on the good players. So it's affecting the good players that are coming in.
It's all like a chain. But I think one big thing about it is that I think in football, people like people. Especially when you're higher position, people like people that they can control.
Like tell what to do,
Like people are not used to having like a staff member who might not agree with you. There's not a problem if someone doesn't agree with you. That person's idea could actually help you in the end, to be fair. I don't agree. I don't think we should scout this way because X, Y, and Z. And you might think, part Z might be, that might be decent. We can add that to this. But a lot of people in like higher positions, again, is like ego. It's like an ego thing, like a personal thing where they're like, no, is the way I want to do it is that's how it's going to be. Where if like, some staff you get will again challenge the norm, to be fair.
That's what you need though. There's no point of hiring someone who thinks exactly like you.
Exactly.
Because you're trying to get the same results. Someone like everyone got a bit of value that they can add and you're like, no, I think we should do it this way. Ultimately,
opposite
like a recipe.
all
different things into the recipe.
Ultimately, if you're the head of recruitment, you're gonna have the final say. But if you're not always gonna be right in everything, and someone else might have a better opinion on something. So
it's like even the other day, I remember one of we've got a very, very good team of scouts at Millwall. Very, very good team of scouts. They actually work very, very hard. They're for the team, for the size of the team is not the biggest. Yeah, it's not the biggest. But for last year, the under-18s got to the semi-final of the Youth Cup, and I even said to them, for the size of the team, you lots are.
Overachieving, I guess.
Overachieving is a nice word to put. They are going above and beyond. You make it to the final four. And to be fair, one of them said to me that I think one of the traders was having problems. I like to do stuff on email so that when they come in, everything is pretty much smooth and sorted or whatsoever. I think one of them was having problems. He said, why don't you just CC us in the emails? I said, hey, that's smart, I said, so that it's gone to you, so then you can chase the parent whatsoever. But just little stuff like that, to be fair, is like, he's giving me a good idea. So now every time where ex-scout sends a player, you just CC, so at least he knows that, okay, this has been sent. Right. If it hasn't gone to the parent, then he says, oh, look, I've got it, I can forward it to you or whatsoever. It's just keeping them involved. But that's a very, very good idea. And I'll probably do that for the next, how many ever years I'm in football, I'll probably do it for the foreseeable future.
If you had like a pig head now, you don't go, no. Just stick to what I'm doing now.
That's what I'm doing, literally.
That's mad. Would you say you've experienced anything in that light, I would say?
So I got a funny story. I'd say in the last couple of months, I played against Premier League Academy. Yeah. I'm not going to mention their name. Obviously, with the ELA boys. We slapped them 4-1.
Okay.
Yeah. One of my players got a hat-trick.
Did they invite him back?
So yeah,
he's driving.
He's driving.
So this guy, that's how you know he's a proper head of recruitment. He operates properly.
If you score a hat trick, even for me, watching a lot of football, especially people love, especially watching a lot of AFCON football, man, he scored a hat trick. I don't care how he scored a hat trick. The fact he managed to put the ball in the net 3 times. He's put the ball in the net not once, not twice, 3 times. So that means you've had to somehow evade the defenders 3 times and have the skills to put it in the net.
Right position 3 times.
Well. And then it was a crazy hat trick.
You need to have you see so many kids in front of the goal, they balloon the ball as far away from the goal as well. So he's had the composure to put in the net 3 times. Man. If you've done that against our players, you definitely deserve to come back in. Even if you come back in and you fail, look, I'd just say, you know what,
at least.
It's a reward for your hard work.
Come see me on Monday. I'm one of them people, I'm very, very fair. I like just giving kids opportunity because you never know what will happen in your environment, whether it'll go either this way, the good way, or ever go the negative way. But then anyway, still, they've had a good experience. If you scored a hat-trick, if you scored a hat-trick against your signed players, in your head you're thinking, okay, if I coach this kid, he seems to know how to score already. Let's see how he does in the environment. So for example, let's say you bring him to environment now. Let's say, for example, we're playing against, let me think of a decent team we're playing against. Walsall or someone. I don't know why I thought of Walsall. Walsall, Birmingham City or something. Yeah. If he scores a hat-trick against them, you're thinking in your head, ooh. But you'll never know unless you actually give the boy the opportunity. If he's doing it against your players, I'll let you finish, but that's
crazy, bro.
No, I agree.
It's crazy, man.
Go on.
Slapped them 4-1, yeah? Gone to the head of recruitment after the game, what's going on? What's your feedback? What do you think? He was like...
He's already putting his face. You know
what it is? He was more concerned about the result. It's like he was more embarrassed and focusing on the result.
But then can't he
and
flip
the
it
maddest
the other
thing
way?
is, the maddest thing is, 5 players from my squad that day are now on trial at academies right now.
2 are signed.
2 are signed.
So basically, it's an academy they're looking for players. Any players in that age group, you've beat them 4-5-1, whatever it is. A good head recruitment like my boy Ade or myself.
He said it straight away.
Hold on. If you're getting beat 4-1, there's a lot of players there that are better than what you've got. So as a head of recruitment, what your job is to do is to get players that are better than what you've currently got.
Literally,
that's your job, yeah? So therefore, he should then go to Salim, if he's good at what he does. He should then go to Salim, bro, you beat us 4-1. I need X, Y, Z. One of the boys scored a hat-trick. He's on trial at Southampton now. He's on trial at Southampton now. 2 of the boys that were in that group signed at Reading, and another 2 on trial at AFC Wimbledon. So he was more concerned, like you said, with the scoreline, and funny enough, he gave me a call. What he was most concerned about, he called me. He said he's going to call me at the end of the game. Instead of him saying, hey man, I want X, Y, Z, I thought this is what the call is about. He's like, hey man, this scout was at our game. Do you know how we got there? He was more concerned with this scout trying to steal his own players. Really and truly, he's going to steal your own players if they just force one to us. And that's what, he didn't ask me about a player. To this day, this head of recruitment has not asked me about any players.
I could not believe it, man.
You know what?
They need players
from that game. You know what I'm laughing, so you guys understand, so you can have a good context to it. So obviously, the previous episode, if you watching this now, you can go watch the previous episode. We said a few things about something similar to this, right? And in the comments on TikTok or on social media, people are like, "Oh, but football's about development. Why are you guys worried about the scores?"
The amount of listen, I just want to say one thing. The amount of comments and things that we've had in the last week. First of all, I'll say 95% of it is very positive.
Oh no,
I would not have thought, since we've done the thing from last week, it's gone to this level, bro. I've had people on the roads coming to me like, you're the guy from the podcast. Even the guy inside here, he's like, I saw your pod going viral. So it's mad, but you get some people saying some dumb stuff, man.
And they're a bit arguing in the chat.
Yeah,
and I'm
like
crazy, man.
You do realize scores, just like we live in a world of numbers,
Yeah.
If you do, I don't know, run from here to, I don't know, end the back end of Wandsworth in less than 2 seconds or something, and just call it something crazy. You do it in 5 minutes. People are gonna chat to you more.
100%.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So life is about numbers. I get it.
100% is
But
like...
yeah, you have to care about the scores. I'm sorry. Like,
Definitely, man.
No,
that's
but
the aim.
it's what the score represents, though.
No, that's what I'm
They got
saying.
better players.
Yes,
the objective of
that's
football is
exactly
to win.
my point.
So
There
if
you
you
go.
if you're getting beat 5-1, this player is probably better than that player.
No, not probably.
Who's
Clearly
better?
Yeah, do you
So,
know what I mean?
like, yeah,
and life is all about upgrading, innit?
Yeah,
so if
yeah,
your
yeah.
phone your phone tells you need to update. Like your phone tells you.
you
So
need to update,
if you're
yeah.
smacking another team 5-1, 4-1, I mean that means I need to update my team.
Yeah,
then.
and that's the
Like,
job as the
something
head of
needs to change.
recruitments to
Yeah.
get players that are in better than what you've got.
And that leads, carry on.
We had
Yeah,
another
yeah.
scenario.
Yeah.
We was playing against Fulham.
Mm.
We beat obviously their 13s. Battered them quite badly, like 9-3. So they were like, the coach was like, all right, cool. We'll get a game with our 40s, innit? Age for age. Let's see what you're on, innit?
I like that. I like
Couple
them.
months
I like
later,
them guys still.
The
Them
game was
proper good
arranged.
guys, proper
Yeah,
good
the
guys.
game was arranged. Boom. It's like 30 minutes in, we're smacking them 5-2.
Okay, so they're
Yeah,
scratching
you
their
know what
heads
I'm saying?
again. Yeah.
They're like, raw, like same age for age. Like we're kind of getting popped. But then towards the end of the game, the boys kind of let it slip a bit, and me and Samuel were like, look, this goes back to what you were saying, the scoreline and numbers are important. If we had beat them, it would have left a much better
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Impression.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? The
So wait.
score makes a difference.
So
it ended up
you-
like we was 5-2 at one point.
Oh, yeah,
I
and
think we
ended
ended
up
up losing like 6-5.
Hey!
Yeah. We had like right at the end of the game. I think the boys were tired. You know, they're not. Maybe some of them are not used to that intensity.
100%. You know the
But
coach
if we
said something
won-
to the players. 100%.
If we won that game, it would have given a whole completely different.
Oh,
look.
yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Different perspective.
So just to
but-
go back to what you said, very
100%.
important, man.
But then that's even close enough itself.
100%.
Again, what Fulham are a very, very good top Cat 1 academy. I've got a few friends who work there who are very, very good at their jobs. The fact that 6'5", to be fair, in my head, in my head, I'm scratching. For me as a person, I'm scratching man thinking, how have we conceded 5 goals?
Yeah.
How are we
True,
down
true,
so much in the game?
But credit to them though, they came back.
They
still.
get credit,
Yeah.
but the coach has probably pulled one to the
Of
side
course,
and
of
said,
course.
hey,
But that's another thing as well. It's all about being complacent. So a lot of times when academies are playing grassroots, in their heads are like,
yeah,
we're
the kid,
here,
yeah,
we're on a
the
level
kids.
now, man. These
But
ones are little kids.
and one of the I remember one of the coaches at Fulham, when me and Samuel at Palace. So Palace used to do this thing where like trialists come and play every week and like kind of showcase your ability.
Yeah.
I think you might have been there years ago. This was about. These guys are first year pros now, so this was when they were under 14s. 5 years. The coach is at Fulham now. Fulham's one of their lead 16s and 18s coaches. Really, really good coach, top coach. I remember he said this to the boys, the signed ones, that them kids that you're playing against that beat you today, they're all here to take your shirts.
Oh yeah,
I will
1,000,000%.
And you could see like the fear. I think they ended up losing 6-2. And obviously everyone's going back in talking about recruitment is great for us, innit? Because we're like, look, like we
100%.
gathered all these kids.
Yeah.
They've beaten the signed ones. And obviously like the coaches, I think we'll probably get onto it later, where coaches kind of like build relationship with kids.
Yeah.
And like have like attachments,
Yeah.
which is which kind of sometimes is a detriment to.
Yeah, it hinders the kids.
recruitment. Because sometimes
Yeah.
they
They don't develop as they should.
They don't develop, but then also if you bring in kids, they don't really give them
Yeah.
Affects
opportunities. Yeah,
decision-making
it does.
processes.
Yeah.
It does. So obviously, we've gone back and we've had meetings over the next couple of weeks because of that result. I think they've played them again, and I think it was the opposite. It was the opposite thing. But that stuck with probably a lot of them kids. That
That's
these trialists that you're playing against are here to. I remember the picture was tight at KCC. At KCC, yeah. The trialists turned the sign players over. Yeah.
And in the current football landscape, I would say just how football is. So would you put raw talent over attitude and resilience? You know, some like we briefly talked about it last week, but just in general, because you're head of recruitment, so everyone looks for different things. Like Sammy now, as he's the head of recruitment for West, correct? Head
Yeah,
scout,
lead
whatever,
scout for
lead
West, yeah.
scout for West, yeah. And would you put the raw talent over attitude or resilience? Because for me personally, I would just say, I know, but talent
Good
is
question, man.
yeah,
Very good
talent
question.
is
Talent, but
what
then-
you need to
but-
work
but-
with
yeah,
first. But I
talent,
love
but then-
attitude.
but then hard work. So what's that thing they say that hard work beats talent when
Yeah.
talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
So that one is a very, very tricky one. I think we can. I don't even want to mention this kid's name. This kid is so talented. Remember, he signed. You brought him to Palace. You remember, proper rude boy. You brought him to Palace. He ended up signing for West Ham. He got released and then he plays college football. You know, from Westwood, proper angry face. You know, where was he from? He was from Church Road. Name begins with D.
Church Road.
You remember him
from Church Road. Yeah, it's Roadman. I love it.
But this player, when I mean had
talent.
Did he sign at Southampton first, or you took him to Southampton?
Yeah, he was at Southampton first.
So because he used to play for Sammy, and that's the first name that came to my head when we're just sitting down there. This player, absolute talent, just angry in life. So when he come on the pitch, just angry, run past everyone, this and that. But I don't know. But sometimes it's like, again, is the attitude thing is probably one of the biggest things where body language, walking on the pitch. I just think it's just one of them.
So how much weight do you put on that? So obviously it's just an open question for anyone. So I would say, for me, like I said again, I'm leaning. No, you know what?
I love personalities.
I'm going down to that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. We've just had a new boy come in, and he's ruffling everyone's feathers. Like
he's hungry.
Because obviously with my squad, just to go back to them, obviously they all think they're big time now. They've had a bad season.
You beat Benfica.
These new guys come in.
If I beat Benfica. But you can't chat to me. I beat Benfica. If my mum tried to tell me to wash the plates at home, I'm going to come up with the most maddest stuff. I beat Benfica. What do you mean washing plates? I'm going to get a what? Do you know I'll be moving at home? Nah. Even Man City to make it worse. Oh, my God. Do you know I would have gone to school the next day. When we come back to
worse in front of
the whole
everyone.
thing, beat Man City. I wouldn't listen to nobody. I know what you mean. I wouldn't listen to
I know
nobody.
how Man United felt. Yeah, the squad of '99, how they felt the next season. No one can chat to them. What?
No one.
I just won the treble. Are you
The
mad?
whole thing.
100%,
Just walk around.
100%.
Police. Nobody can talk to me. I make my own rules, my own law. I beat Man City. What? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
My mum, my dad. You can't.
No one can chat to
No
you.
one, man. Yeah, man.
I've noticed.
That is
Obviously, like new players come in the door. It's like naturally they just try and test a man's temperature. You know what I'm trying to say? And I love this new player because he's come in, he's not having it.
He's hungry.
He's hungry. He's like, no one's chatting to me. He's showing his personality.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
Is he
There was an
rude or
incident-
like he just gets on? with
Not
it?
rude.
He just gets
but
on.
they
with
might
it,
be
yeah?
having a go at me. He's like, just be quiet. Like, I'm
Oh
doing my
yeah,
thing.
I like that.
Like, there was an incident in training yesterday where there was a penalty. He's an attacking player. And he went to pick the ball up.
He said, "This
New
is my
player.
penalty.
He's like,
This is
this is
my
mine. I
players
love
like
that
that. I
stuff,
love
man.
players like that. I love
And I
players
don't
like
think that stuff is spoken about enough in coaching, man. Like personality is so big in football. I don't think it's spoken
Oh no,
about
in
enough.
England, you shouldn't have a personality.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
I'll tell
It's
you
like
why.
they
Bellingham,
they
for
talk
me,
it out, you
he didn't
coach it
play the
out, you-
most. He didn't play. He wasn't like the best player.
I
in the
love his
tournament.
personality.
Oh
Exactly.
man, I
Love his
would
personality.
celebration. Who else?
No,
That
no,
is
no,
up,
no,
man.
no,
Let's
no,
go.
no,
For me,
no,
it's not even the
getting
celebration.
mad.
It was the little things he was doing when the ball's gone off for throwing,
The
and he
little
gets up and
barges.
barges. I
Yeah,
love
all
it.
of that. I love that.
Get
man.
into the minds,
That's what
like
I'm
just
saying.
let the person know I'm
Personality,
20,
man.
but I will knock you out. Like,
That's what I'm saying. It's
But
personality,
I
man.
think it's kind of the way football's going and the way the world is going.
no, in England, boys. It's only in
Like
England.
robotic.
They don't
No,
play
but you know, I think like, did you guys ever watch Premier League years? I was a kid when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I think there was more personality in football.
Oh,
you know when
for sure.
Thierry, you know when
Oh,
Thierry
man.
Henry and all them players were playing.
Yeah.
What's the one he gave the referee?
Enough?
Is that the
Ah,
best? So I'm
Thierry.
thinking like
Yeah,
back in the
Thierry
days
was-
when all them players are coming through like Paul Scholes, like the guys at Liverpool.
Gerrard.
Gerrard.
Gerrard and
Carragher.
these guys are like.
They had personality.
They had personality,
Then that was the
Vieira.
only thing England could sell. Yeah, the whole gritty football. We're British, but now it's the cocktail is too much, man. They've added bare things, so now we all have to be diplomatic.
But then I think players who want to have personalities is kind of like it's not a I wouldn't say it's a safeguarding thing, but then it's like the most tiniest of things where like when us guys were probably playing. I mean, probably misplaced the pass or whatsoever. The coach would get onto us. Like, hey,
Yes,
what are you doing?
yes.
Our players will get onto us. Like, hey, you need to
No,
fix
you
up.
can't do that.
Senior players will
Yeah,
come
yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah.
In football, hey, you can't even try that now.
Yeah,
Before you do that, you just knock on your door. You know, you've had a complaint about you. Why have you had a complaint?
You were screaming, right?
Because you're shouting at somebody. Huh?
Hey yo, do you know how many?
And I think
day.
that's why. Because imagine when younger kids. I remember when I was playing. Not as much swearing, but people be shouting or get onto each other.
Yeah.
You can't. If kids do that now, some of these kids start crying, and their parents will then messaging behind saying, "I think this child is bullying my son," and all this and that. There's no really like any like.
I'm happy the way you.
accountability,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no accountability or like.
That's an amazing bait. I'll tell you why.
Personality.
Because that's the same thing I've dealt with in the past as well.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
don't understand the difference between shouting at a kid or shouting out instructions.
Yep.
I can't be shouting at a kid because it's pointless. What I scream out is pass the ball. Make sure you're in your position. I'm literally shouting instructions.
Or like demanding,
demanding
demanding
the best.
100% from your teammates.
Yeah, of course,
But they
man.
can't handle that.
Because me, like, when I still play my friends now, for me as a person, my friends know I'm very, very like hot-tempered in football, and like if the ball doesn't come to me, I'm whatsoever. But then I tell my friends, if I'm not doing something, you need to tell me I'm not doing it. You don't tell me in a nice way. You tell me, hey, you need to run. Because if I'm not running, it costs a goal or this and that or whatsoever. And I think that the way I speak, funny enough, I was speaking with the coaches yesterday, like the way the world football's going.
We're gonna be texting people to tell them.
Seriously. This a great player, played for Millwall for many years. He coaches in the youth phase. Great player. He said this Thursday. He said this Wednesday that he saves his wages, spends his bonuses. But then the thing is now, like when youth team players or like younger players come up now, they don't really have like any like, you would say like grit, desire,
Nothing.
not even. But I just even think personality. And it's the thing where you can't really shout at them because that's what I was saying before. You shout at them and then it goes the wrong way.
Yes.
And funny enough, he did say that some of these younger players, they'll come and they'll cost people bonuses and stuff.
Yeah.
You know that back in the days.
Yes.
Imagine you're playing, you're a youngster, you come on the pitch and you mess up and you've lost a guy like $5,000 or you lost him 10 grand because you can't clear the ball, you can't header it. The strikers pushed you away. The senior players are going to let you know.
You're gonna hear
that you've done that.
Of course.
100%.
But that's the thing I say.
It's gone. It's
Totally, and you're trying to like instill that in the kids at a very young age. And the parents are confused, and I don't blame them. They've never played football. They don't understand it. They're just seeing football as a hobby, as some form of sports.
But it's gonna
Exactly.
turn into a job, and like this whole thing around like the whole like bullying element of it. I don't even think as a kid. I'm not even bullying it. I just think the way like the youth are going, they don't really have work ethic.
Yeah, and they don't have their own personality. So I'll tell you this: about 60 to 75. I'm just putting out numbers there. Are genuinely living vicariously through other footballers. So some kid will watch TikTok. I want to do a name I did. Back in the days, players used to come up with their own skills.
You go to the cage.
Henry, look, just think about it. All them guys came up with their own skills.
You go to the cage. You've got the olders riding their pedal bike around the cage because there's some beef going on.
Yeah.
You've then got the olders who are in the cage playing with you. You'll then be like 8 years old. You're playing with a 12-year-old. You're playing with a 15-year-old. There's about 60 men in the cage. You're playing, what's that game? 66.
66.
You catch the ball and you're gone and you're in trouble. You're playing 66, so you're playing 20 versus 20. You're doing skills.
Everything.
You get pushed on the floor. You think you can go and complain to it? You get up and you rumble your
You know,
and the next time
you remember? Oh my day, Nutmeg Rush.
Nutmeg Rush.
My day.
Nutmeg Rush.
Nutmeg
You're in
Rush,
trouble.
bro. I will never forget. Year 11, they punched up this guy in the eye, bro. Out of excitement, they just like just boom in his eye, and he just.
And then next time you're not gonna get nutmeg.
Oh, yeah,
but then
yeah,
even in
yeah,
terms
yeah,
of players, it then teaches you skills and then all these things, like just like character, personality. That you start talking back to the olders. By the time some of the olders will obviously like slap you up for doing it, but they'll pull you to the side and say, "Hey, it's not bad, innit? Like when you go play a football, do this when you're playing your football or whatsoever." There's not really that going on.
It's all changed.
Like the way the younger generation is growing up is like they're very, very. But you can't even blame them the way the world is. To be fair, they're very, very
sensitive. A lot of them are sensitive.
sensitive and like it's like they're kept away from just how life is.
Bubble wrapped.
Yeah, bubble wrapped. Yeah, that's the
They're bubble wrapped, and that's
Too much.
why a lot of times you would see, like I said, most of the kids now don't have their own personality.
Yeah.
It's all borrowed personality. So, there's nothing wrong with kids trying to do Mbappe
100%.
celebration. There's nothing. Even me with the kids, when I'm at work in school, I even told kids, I said, I will score, and I will be like, Mbappe, and they'll be like, what? I'm like, yeah, I just taken Ronaldo's celebration. Instead of me doing Zoo, I'll do this and I'll do this. And they're like, ooh. But that was just me from as a young kid. As an adult now, I'm just doing, all right, cool. How can I fit in with this little kid, but still be myself? Which is, I'm not going to just copy Ronaldo or Mbappe. What about we do this? Do you get it? But these kids can't think like that. It's just like, I have to do what he's doing, and that's about it.
But then I even think that comes down to, again, like the way they've grown up.
Oh, yeah, of
It's
course.
like I'm thinking, I remember I was a bit of a naughty kid, to be fair. So obviously I'm always getting in trouble. Obviously my parents would discipline me. So I'm thinking sharp on my feet. I've got in trouble. I don't think they have enough scenarios where they have to like think and like use their brain.
It's
They
a shame
don't.
because think about it. Most of the kids, they wake up, brush their teeth, breakfast is made for them. They drive them to football.
Breakfast is made.
Once they drop on the floor, parents come or the coaches go, "Are you okay?" There's no sort of like self. It's like you know when you look after yourself and you're like, I'm independent. It's like this is all is just being babied. It's just all being babied. So which leads to the other one. Anyway, to my second question would be again for the whole room. So this should be directed at Sammy anyway. So in a sense where let's say like you said in the previous pod anyway, you've got your plans for expansion and stuff like that. Now we've just talked about the culture here and the culture pretty much in football.
Yeah.
I'll pick a place like Dubai. Of course, they have a different type of way of living and their culture and everything is different. Do you feel like screaming or shouting? I'll use the word shouting because screaming sounds like a madman. But you think like shouting out instructions will work over there? Or are they very,
very... Talk about bubble wraps in UK, in Dubai, imagine that times 10.
Huh?
Yeah, the kids are proper bubble wraps. They got nannies. Everything like that. But talking about the culture in certain countries, when we went to obviously play the Algarve Cup, one of the most exciting teams we saw was Sporting Lisbon. And the culture that the coaches gave them was go express yourself. So like when we played Sporting Lisbon's under 13s, it's the best under 13s I've ever seen in my life. Crazy. Like so see when you go play a team, they got like 2 superstars or 3. This team literally had about 7 superstars. Like I mean superstars.
Skills,
just mad. Like just mad. And like all their wingers and their attacking players are all doing step overs, skills, flary. And after I compare it to the UK system, I've obviously been in academy football for 12 years now. There's not many academies that have that factor, because I feel like the academy system in England, even though it's very well structured, sometimes it's a bit too structured, where some of the players become a bit robotic. You come in, you pick up the forward, you play here. They lack that. See when you put something over a kid so much, they can't express themselves.
Yeah.
If you got, that's why that is going out the game. You don't see many Ronaldinho's no more. You don't see many Zidanes just doing the madness, nannies, and Ronaldo when he first come and just...
They can't think. But
but that's what happens in the academy system in England sometimes. Even though it's very good, I'm not trying to knock it, but sometimes when it's too structured, you can't develop the other side of flair, because you got to be more expressive and more free. So when we played Sporting Lisbon, honestly, bro, like they had 6 or 7 players doing back heels, step overs. If you've done that in academy, you do a back heel or step over, people will tell you off. I remember when I was doing step overs in when I was growing up, the coach is like, "No, don't do that, don't do that." You wouldn't get that in the Portuguese.
But I think what you've said is interesting, because I've heard a lot of people in the past, I would say 18 months, it's become like a hot topic about expression and stuff like that. But people forget that football is a team game, right? So let's say a child is being allowed to express himself all his life. Yeah, that's all he knows. Yeah, he's not a team player like Ronaldo when he came to United. Yeah. The only reason Ronaldo's allowed to carry on doing his nonsense because he just got better at it. You know, there's some players that'll try it and lose the ball. Yeah. And that could cost a team. Yeah, for sure. So this is important for us to understand and know as well. Is that it's okay to express yourself. Yeah. What do you think the balance should be? Where as a coach, or as you've been in this industry for the longest, would you say you want a certain player to express themselves at a specific position? Yeah. Or just, hey, mate, do what you can do?
I think that's a very good question that you just asked, Collins. At the end of the day, to express yourself is how you unlock keys. To get into the final third, it's a bit of magic, right? Yeah. So a player's got to ultimately be good enough to do that. So if you're trying to be a right winger or left winger, trying to take on a player and you're losing it every time, you're not that good. Unless you have a 1-off game, 2-off game, or you're bad, like not playing well, which is normal. But if you can't get past the player, you're not doing that well. So a lot of times when we tell kids as well, there's a scout coming to a game. Like I used to bring Ade that over all the time. I'm like, Ade coming, he's a scout. The kids start doing too much. They start doing too much. They start trying to impress. Like I've been a scout for a long time. Like I said, I've scouted players that I've played off 1 touch, 2 touch, as long as it's been effective. Can your first touch be forward? Can your first pass be forward? Are you retaining the ball well? You know, sometimes kids are in a game and their team's getting beat like 5-1. You still play good. Forget about your team. I've scouted a boy where that's lost the game 5-1 before. You get what I mean? So, what's your take on that? Expressive, when to express. I feel like in the final thirds, you have to have expressive, dynamic players.
That's what I believe.
Yeah,
I think
in the final third, I feel like
doing it at home,
it's gonna
you lose the ball.
Yeah, it's gone out the game a bit now. Whereas the winger's just naturally trying to beat his man. I feel like the players have got too much pressure now to want to beat players, because if they lose the ball, people are going to start calling them rubbish. So when you're a right winger now and you're trying to go at the left back, if I get tackled, people are going to be like, you're dead.
And
And after their friends will start calling them rubbish, the fans will start getting onto them. So there's a bit too much pressure for the winger.
I'm happy you said that. The fans will start getting at them. Ronaldo was every Saturday or Sunday, whenever they played, they were getting at him. Unless I said, nah, leave him, because, I think that's something that he's cool. But this year, this is where I think the problem is, right? We can say kids are the sponges, obviously. They copy things and they want to do what they've seen on TV or on Instagram or whatever. But the truth is, the adults, the older generation, I think we ruined it for them, and I'll tell you why. So we've got grown men that can't think for themselves. They want to be the next Pep. But hold on a minute. Pep has done it his way. You get it? It's the same thing when Arsene Wenger came to the Premier League. It changed the whole. They were like worshipping him. Oh, this guy is
because he does the style.
They're doing it with Pep now. So then with Arsene Wenger, they were. Of course, you were able to be invincibles because you're allowed to do your thing. You see Lundberg, them guys, they were doing their own thing. Henry running at Carragher like that when there was a man open. That's you being expressive, right? You express yourself.
But he's good enough, though.
Thank you, But that's what I'm saying.
You can't be that guy trying to pick on a player and you're losing every time because you just hinder the team.
I'm saying, 100%. Look at Grealish. Grealish at Aston Villa, off. It's gone. Grealish now at Man City, you've got to pass the ball. So do you see what I'm saying? It's like everyone now copying someone that is somewhat he's successful at winning, even though I think that win is like giving a rich man money from a rich kid inheriting his dad's money. Of course, you're still going to be rich, innit?
Yeah,
like if he tries it with Newcastle or
that's
Brentford or whatever it is, that's different. So that's what I'm saying. In my opinion, it's about people copying stuff. Like I've always said to the kids I coach, hey, see in your own half, I beg you don't do that, please. Because you're going to cost people. And especially if you're a lazy player, you can't even track back. That's even more annoying.
For sure.
Do you get it? Because someone like Ronaldo will never track back. You know? Like, let's say someone like Tarrant. When Tarrant used to play, even when he was, oh my days, even like QPR, he would do it for fun. Open passes, he could do it. He's just expressing himself. And you're like, brother, just pass the ball. Now, I'm not sure if that's the kind of expression you're talking about, where there's Salimi's open, I could pass the ball. Ade is there, I can see him, I can see you, but I'm just still trying to show off and just
do what's best for the team.
There you go.
If you back yourself, sometimes you gotta take risks to be expressive.
Yeah, of course.
You could be like one-on-one with a winger. If you beat him, you're gonna be one-on-one with the keeper, or you can pass it sideways. It might build up. So sometimes you still gotta take that risk as a winger to beat the man. You gotta back yourself. You gotta be to be a winger. It's a hard position.
It's very.
It went viral when I said, it's easier to make it as a right back than a right winger. People were like, no, right back is hard. No, listen, what you talking? It's way harder to make it as a winger. And I'll give you. A bear people have been saying this in the chat. I'm like, what are these people talking about? Because I put it into perspective. What's the hardest thing in football to do? Score. That's the hardest thing. That's what football's about. Okay, as a winger, you need to score goals. All right, and assist, which is the hardest part about football. And just go back. I'll put it into simple black and white. Who costs more, the wingers or the right backs or the left backs?
The wingers.
By far.
But they're even
by far. Because they score goals. Because they're
flamboyant.
It's even their numerical deficit.
Yes.
So you got
100%.
You got 4 or 5 defenders.
Good point.
Versus what most teams
exactly.
play.
So when the defender gets the ball,
plays with one striker and 2
sure.
wingers. So
100%.
you're already. It's already a deficit.
100%.
So the fact that you can get past that deficit, it's
that is true.
Good point.
It's one of those.
I was going to ask a question here, like for Millwall, how does the recruitment strategy works in terms of like, so when you guys get in players, are you guys under any pressure to get players for the immediate team, or you're more like, we need to get in players to develop for the future?
The second one, get players to develop for the future. So it's a very, as I said, fantastic club, wonderful people where the culture is, to be fair, what's the best way of putting it? Culture is...
You're a selling club then.
No, I wouldn't even say selling. I don't think we're not bothered about results. We're bothered about getting kids into the first team.
Yeah. So ultimately, that's what the academy's about.
It's like getting... It's like...
Yeah.
And you know, I've bought into this, to be fair, and I agree with it. I don't mind, for this example, we're playing on the weekend now. Let's say, for example, on the weekend we lose 10-0. Obviously, people turn around and scratch their heads.
Yeah, of course.
But everyone would, to be fair. But if 2 players from the game on Saturday make it into the first team and end up playing 100, 200 games, which one would you consider more successful? I'd consider the 2 players getting into the first team. At the end of the day, that's what academies are for. Either to get players into the first team or make a residual sell value. I think, but most clubs pretty much want to see that. Fans would love it. Players that you've seen come from the academy. They've been there since they're like 10, 9, 14 or whatsoever. They come through the system. They come through the ranks, and they add to the football club.
I think I agree
That
with that. And I like that. I don't want to be like Chelsea where I'm there from 9, then I get to 23. And I play a couple of games and they sell me off.
There's two things in it. There's two things in terms of like recruitment within the academy. There's something called recruitment where you get the players in and he might be good at the time, and there's something called talent identification, is how they're going to look like in 5 years. And I'll give an example actually, to be fair, with a boy that just signed at Millwall. He just signed a professional contract. He's from West London, so credit to him and credit to his coaches for getting him signed. He grew up with his friends. They all got signed around him to like Oxford and some other clubs. He didn't get signed to the clubs, and now he's the only one from that circle, bar one of the players, that he's on a professional contract now. So talent identification is like, what's he gonna look like in 5 years, 4 years, 6 years? So
the tables have turned.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
The tables have turned, exactly. He wasn't the go-to guy at that age. I remember his friend being better. Now he's the only one
on a pro
from that group that's on a pro, and he just signed at Millwall as well, to be fair.
Interesting, because I love a good success story, to be honest, because it's one of those things you look back and go, I was panicking for no reason, but I've got it. Which I would say, again, because you're the guest, and it's always nice to address this question to you first, because, again, we're going to be here some other time, a couple of weeks. You're not going to be, so it's a chance to ask you. So can you talk me through like a success story? It doesn't have to be really a success story, but just a story where you've scouted a player, you've developed the player, and you've integrated the player into the first team. Like,
Credit to Ade, though. He's got 2 players that have gone to the first team at Crystal Palace, Jess and Mofi, that's come from Ade.
So they're not too bad to me. They're good kids. I think it's one of them ones where Jez was released by Chelsea. A lot of clubs wanted him. They had my boss at the time, to be fair, helped out a lot, to be fair, where we've somehow managed to get him in the building. He's managed to then convince the director to sign him. And then obviously, at first when he went there, it was a bit shaky, to be fair. Second season, obviously under 18s is 2 years, first year, second year. Second year was amazing, to be fair. And yeah, ever since then, he had a really good loan at Charlton. And then ever since it's been in and around the first team, to be fair. He's done pretty well for them this pre-season. I just watch their games at home when I'm bored, to be fair. And even, I just watch it at home on YouTube. And even Mofe as well. Mofe is from the other end of the spectrum, to be fair. So,
I know about Mofe, which is...
So obviously, Barnet closed down. He's then come to us. We then obviously had to pay a bit of compensation. And he's just, to be fair, he's just every year just got better and better gradually. At the 16, he played 18s. Yeah. First year,
he's trained with the first team now as well.
21s, and then obviously they took quite a lot of them on tour to America, to be fair, to see how they get on in the first team environment, to be fair. And to be fair, they've done well for themselves, to be fair. But it's still very, very early in their journey. And to be fair, when they come and speak to someone like me, so my football career was very, very short. Yeah, just a 1 year pro deal whatsoever. And I always tell them, to be fair, even the other players, when I sit down and have lunch with them, I say football's a very, very long. It's very, very long. But then at any given moment, it could be gone like that.
Yeah.
But then it's up to you to make sure it stays. You can't let stuff get to your head, because we can all sit in this room and give stories of people who we thought, to be fair, my year group at school and the year group below me at school. Between all of us, they mixed our two school teams together. The year below, he played for Chelsea. 3 man at Palace. 4, because the keeper was there. I think we had a whole starting 11 of academy players or whatsoever. Right. And one of my closest friends to today is the only one who makes it. He just come back now from Germany into League One, to be fair. He's probably better than that level, League One. He's the only one. The only one out of both year groups.
That's crazy.
It's not. So you have a whole starting 11. Obviously, a couple of them done their other scholarships and 1 year pro, 2 year pros at whatsoever clubs. But yeah. Everyone now is either coaching, working, just doing different things.
And now with the rise of data analytics and all this stuff we do now, because recording is all data, isn't it? How do you blend your traditional scouting
in terms of data, to be fair? I think obviously traditional scouting is very, very big for us, to be fair. But then obviously, like in terms of just incorporating data, I think for me, when I come in, that's something that I wanted to start and to add. It's just bit by bit, just like using different softwares, and like if fair, dating football was very, very big, to be fair. Like, I can go on for the next half an hour. Like,
but which one do you prefer?
Which one do I prefer?
Do you think the traditional one is?
I can't lie, I'm a traditional guy.
Yeah,
to be fair.
man. You know what? I love the traditional
Yeah,
one
man.
because you can just be at home one day and turn on your TV, watching Match of the Day. You just see one kid you scouted, for instance, and maybe you've got his name on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
What?
Like,
and you just like, yeah, I have to go.
And then I think, especially like from obviously data and that using video, and then obviously putting the data into like whatever software or whatever report system that you have. Watching the game live is very, very different from watching it on video. It's like you see stuff from a different angle, and like you hear stuff, and then like I just think just seeing the stuff from a different angle, from a live angle, makes you appreciate it even more. It makes you
That's
like
true.
just the sharp movements, just the I don't know, just whatever football players do. Just watching it live, it makes you appreciate it even more. To be fair. Obviously, data is very, very good. A lot of football clubs use it very, very well and use it to their advantages, to be fair. I think, obviously, the most simple way of data that we can probably talk about here, which most scouts do, and then use it in a traditional method, top goal scorer. I think they removed it, to be fair, they're not going to put stats out for junior football anymore. To be fair, a lot of scouts traditional scouts actually use data. The easiest one, you go onto a website, who's top of the league? Like someone like your team's probably scored 100 goals. You see ELA under 14s, goal difference, goals for 100, goals conceded 3. These men conceded 3 goals, scored 100. Drive down immediately on the side to the next game straight away. Who's this player? How they've scored 100 goals? You then probably end up picking a player. But that's basic ways of using data in football, which is then links into the traditional way.
That is actually true. It's one of those things that people tend to put to the side because obviously technology is now important in terms of everything people do. And that leads me to another question. So with Sammy, I was going to ask just in general, anyone wants to jump in, it's cool. It's not directly just Sammy. But with the way the world is going now, we know certain things are never going to change. Nepotism, never going to change. And let me just put my hand up. If I have a brother, except if my brother is rubbish, I won't bring him in. But if I know he's really good, brother, the other guy has to take a back seat just for a moment because I need to see what he's doing, because it's easier for me to say, yo, bro, you got a cut. Then I'll bring in someone. I know some people can't do that. Yeah. It's like, yo, I know you're not good, but I won't tell you you're not good. I'll just leave you there. You know what I mean? Because I want people to see that I brought you in. Yeah. For some people, it's just the ego thing, isn't it?
Image.
And it's just the image as well. So would you feel like, I know you wouldn't necessarily do that, but if you're put in a position to do that, any of you, do you think you would be doing something like that? It's still classified as nepotism.
No, it has to make sense, man. End of the day, it's what works best. It doesn't matter if it's like a friend or someone you don't know. Whoever's better for the job, for me, man.
Whoever's the best.
Whoever can show the credentials and the quality.
I agree.
Has to get picked for me, man.
Yeah, man.
I genuinely agree.
100%. Man. You can't just pick your friend because he's your friend. Yeah, man. Like I said it before. I didn't really get to finish it properly. But like me and Ade, we've obviously applied for a lot of jobs. Like I've gone for full-time jobs in football. And I've had to do presentations, and the guy's come up to me at the end. He's like, "I've already given this job before we even done the advert to someone, but you're fantastic." So it happens in the game. Yeah.
Wait, pause. My head is fried. It came up to you to say,
bro. Do you know what it is? At one job, I done a presentation, and it was 10 out of 10. The guy was just like, "Bro, you're sick. Like, I want to give you this job, but just before it came out, I've given it to someone." But just brave. He was just telling me, I don't even know how he told me this stuff, but why. He was just like, yeah, just for HR purposes, we still got to get the job out on the website and do the presentations and stuff, man. So so touching on your point, it happens. A lot of these jobs, like when you see full-time jobs, unfortunately, guys, I'm so sorry to say, they've already given that job to his boy more often than not. Sometimes, if it's a blank state,
man, give it to a clerk.
I know. Do you know what they do? Do you know what they do sometimes as well? Can I tell you another thing that they do? This is a bit sneaky, and this is true. Yeah. So they'll make a lot of people come do presentations. Like, so for example, if you was head of recruitment, this has happened to me before. So if you was head of recruitment, how would you run the department? Okay, and you got to do a full-on presentation. And in that presentation,
I'll let him do it.
Hold on.
I'll let him talk.
Because he knows me and him are on the same industry. In that presentation, you're telling them all your secrets.
Of course, man.
You're telling them all your secrets. This club is that. This club is that. This club is that.
Cooking.
So like, they've got like 7 high-level scouts that have come down the presentation now. They're like, thank you, and they've taken it.
Yeah.
So like, what do? Do you not give them everything, but you want the job? But has he already given it to his boy? He's gonna give all these details. He's gonna save the presentation and give it to his boy. But like, hey, use this. I've given you a kickstart.
Of course, man, you give him the recipe. All he has to do is just wear the apron and cook.
I know.
Man just turns up to the kitchen.
And that is the truth. That is the truth. For the guys that are not in the scouting game, and that's what happens.
That happens very often.
Thank you.
They're not, especially the last thing that he said.
Yeah.
Do the presentation. They'll be asking you. You'll be thinking, yeah, I've got a chance. They start asking you questions, and when you're driving back home, there's one big club that I spoke to. To be fair, this was a while ago. The guy's asking me questions. He's like, hopefully the guy doesn't ever watches this and doesn't remember. He said, if I gave you £1 million, who would you buy? I'm spitting, you should buy this player, you should buy that player. This player's amazing, this and that. And I realized that when I'm driving home, I'm like, wait, they're gonna ask this question to everyone. I'm saying, wait, we're giving them just top players for free. Literally.
That's what I'm saying.
These guys are they're still slow. Still to this day, they haven't even got any of the players that anyone has told them to get to.
You know how you just said that? You know, I just clocked in my head. If I was the next brother going in and I've just heard this conversation, they'll say, who you gonna buy? I'm like, me. You know the ones that I just point at myself.
If I gave you £1 million. But yeah, it happens.
So would you, okay, this is so interesting though. So would you say, genuinely, you think scouting is a job you would recommend to someone?
I wouldn't, I actually wouldn't. Me personally, I wouldn't, because a lot of people don't know. You have to put a lot of hours into it, to be fair. Like when we both started, it's like, people think scouting is just easy. You're just going to come there, your player's going to play in the Premier League. They don't realise that you actually have to, but let's say kickoff now, for example, I live close to Blue Water. So let's say, for example, now, I've got to get to a game at like 9:30 in the morning on a Sunday. Obviously, a lot of people like to go out. To be fair, I don't really go out, to be fair. I've got missus and I've got a young one, to be fair, so I just stay at home.
Don't stop you, mate.
Huh?
Don't stop you.
No, not even, to be fair. But it's one of them ones, you got to get somewhere 9:30 in the morning. How many people would actually get out of their bed on a Sunday morning? So first, that's a lot of people already out of it. Then when you actually get to the game, actually like identifying and IDing who the actual best person is. Okay, that's another issue where a lot of people will then drop out. And then it's just one of them things where, when you first start, you probably won't get paid. And I know there's a lot of debates and a lot of arguments I see online, to be fair, whether they say that, for example, there's a club that that these millionaires own, these actors own. You guys probably know what club the actors own.
I know what you're talking about.
So they put out an ad for scouts. And funny, somebody put on LinkedIn that this is someone give me a word. It's vital. It was a word different from vital. This is
essential.
Not even essential. Like you're going to play an integral part of the academy.
Integral.
Integral is like a massive thing.
Of course.
Why am I a volunteer if I'm in integral? It don't make no sense. You want me to go there? Integral. Like the guy's comment actually made sense. Obviously in my head, because obviously I'm going through like a whole recruitment process as well. But then obviously I kind of understand what they mean. Like it's integral. It is an important part, because without players, no one really has a job, to be fair. You need the players to get the players in the door. But then the thing is, you have to be proven to get paid. Like, and I always tell people, you will just never turn around. If somebody comes and gives their job you're not just going to turn around and give them $1,000 a month. You're not. You want to know that your money is actually being used well. So then obviously there's a period in time where you have to prove yourself, and that's why a lot of people end up falling out of scouting, or they think they just don't continue scouting. They think that the money's just going to land on their lap.
It's interesting you said that, because I remember long time ago when Y City had where they have the five-a-side cage, whatever it's called now, Power League. Power League. Yeah, so I said Power League. Power League. It used to be called Rubber. When we used to kick ball there, we used to play football. There's this brother, I remember we used to play football together, and was a very close friend. And he just stopped playing football with us for some reason. Anyway, we thought maybe he's gone on holiday, but he was scouting for Chelsea, and then after that he went to Arsenal. Now he's the director of a football club in. I swear you know probably now. I can't remember his name. Yusuf.
He's a good guy.
Yusuf,
good guy,
yes.
good guy.
I remember them times. What? Yusuf, stay in goal. Bro, if he's seen this, he's gonna be like, I remember Collins. What? I used to be the one that'll pick Collins. I need your match. I'm like, yeah. But it's just funny to see that. Them times I'm like, bro, we've got a match. He's like, nah, man, I can't make it. What are you doing, bro? Oh man, scouting. They're not paying you, man. But this guy kept on grinding.
You put in the hours and you put in the work, and one of them things where it's a very, very like lonely job.
Yeah.
And like I don't think Samuel will probably be able to finish it off for me, but people don't know what they're actually getting themselves into.
Yeah. Scouting is a long road. There's a lot of politics, like I said. You've got to build up a name for you to get your player in the door. You know, like it's a lot of hours, man. It's a lot of hours.
A lot of hours.
But like I love it, man. To be fair, I know Adi thinks it's a hard job sometimes.
Tedious.
That's tedious, but I love it though.
Yeah,
Deep down, I love
But
it.
do you know when you get your player and you see him getting into the
That's
first
what I'm
team,
saying.
and
It feels.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's like having a
ultimately,
cup of
it is kind of hard to get in, man.
But you know what? Thinking about it now, the whole like voluntary like recruitment thing that everyone has to do in a time. It's essentially like a long period job interview.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
an
man, you got
elongated-
to show your worth,
It's
man.
like an elongated
You know,
job
'cause
interview.
everyone wants to get into professional football, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to get into it. And touching on it as well, like these clubs make a lot of money. You know, like these clubs are making
That's why they
millions.
should pay the scouts.
I know, but
Not
when you look at
voluntarily,
the staff that get paid in the academies, they don't really get much. They still get a decent amount, but they don't like compare it to like a job in the city. They get paid way more in the city, if I'm being honest with you. And after you're thinking these clubs are making mills, why is it not filtering it down more to these players? Like for example, if you get a player in the academy, and you get him signed, like how much did Palace sell Wan-Bissaka for? 20 million? Like 50 million. Sorry, 50.
The training ground
Yeah,
cost them 20 million.
No, that's why, because I remember I remember Wan-Bissaka's money to pay for the training ground.